Welcome to the Deep Dive. We pull apart stacks of sources, articles, first-hand accounts, police files, to give you the critical knowledge you need, uh, really distilled and ready to use.
Yeah.
Today, we're undertaking quite a profound and honestly pretty difficult exploration. We're looking into the dark side of modern connection,
Hmm.
the hidden dangers, the patterns of deception, and sometimes the catastrophic outcomes tied to meeting people through dating apps.
It's definitely sensitive stuff, but it's so vital we talk about it. Our sources, they document some really chilling incidents, everything from, calculated near abductions right up to premeditated murder.
Right.
And the goal here isn't to scare everyone off these apps entirely. It's more about meticulously examining the criminal methods, the safety steps that maybe failed, or crucially, the steps that actually saved lives.
Exactly, because when you're looking for a connection, you sort of assume this baseline, right? A mutual good faith.
You do.
But the patterns we're seeing in these reports, the catfishing, the isolation tactics, the calculated violence, it just demands that we upgrade our own defenses.
Absolutely.
So our mission today is to pull out clear, memorable, actionable insights so that you, listening, can hopefully spot these warning signs long before things escalate. We're turning these intense stories into a necessary education.
Yeah, let's do that. And maybe a good place to start is with those incidents, those really high stakes ones, where the only thing between the person and, well, a tragedy was just a moment of instinct, or maybe curiosity, or just healthy skepticism.
Okay, let's begin with Marissa's story. She's 23, matches with Luke, who says he's 25. The plan is just a casual meetup at his place. Sounds pretty standard, right?
Totally standard on the surface.
But the red flags, they started waving almost straight away.
They did, although subtle enough, that you could easily miss them. Luke, he waits until after he asks Marissa where she lives, which neighborhood, before giving her his address. And surprise, surprise, it turns out to be suspiciously close. Walking distance, in fact.
Right. That just feels calculated.
It often is. It minimizes travel, makes the environment familiar to the perpetrator, or maybe more disturbingly, it just cuts down the time it takes to get you somewhere compromising.
So, Marissa did do the right thing initially. She put up her first boundary, the phone call.
Good first step.
Insisted on speaking first. And the sources say he sounded normal, like an average young guy, joking around.
Yeah.
Which, eased her fears enough that she decided to go ahead with meeting him. And I think a lot of people stop right there, don't they?
No, absolutely. If they sound normal, they must be normal. That's the assumption.
It's that psychological friction, isn't it? The voice, the digital persona. It's designed to disarm you.
Exactly. Which is why Marissa's next step was so critical. She trusted her gut feeling, her physical instinct, more than that pleasant phone call.
What did she do?
She decided to go early, about 10 minutes ahead of schedule, just to scope out the location late at night. She was basically doing real-world reconnaissance.
Smart. And what she saw immediately just didn't line up with the story.
Not at all. The house was completely dark, pitch black. But there were 2 cars in the driveway and another one parked right out front. It just didn't look or feel like a 25-year-old guy living alone. That silence, combined with all those vehicles, that was the critical mismatch. The physical reality contradicting the digital one.
Okay, yeah. Alarm bells should have been deafening at that point.
Absolutely. So
Cool.
she stalls, she texts him, "I'm almost there."
Okay.
And Luke replies, "Oh, you're early. Walk slow."
Walk slow. That's,
Ollie.
wow.
Intense, isn't it? It's manipulative. It forces the potential victim to slow down, maybe walk past the house again, gives the person inside time to adjust or prepare whatever they were planning.
So as she's cautiously moving away from that address, she hears something.
Yeah, the sound that confirmed everything. A white van, headlights off,
Oh, come on.
pulls up to the intersection, parks down the street from the supposed meeting spot. Nobody gets out, just sits there.
Chilling.
And then Luke texts again, "Okay, I'm ready. Let me know when you're on my block. I'll come out."
That was the trigger, the cue for the plan to start.
Must have been. But Marissa, she recognized the danger. She just bolted.
Good for her.
And the detail that really stood out in her account was how she ran. She didn't run down the middle of the street. She stayed close to the houses, using them for cover, staying out of sight lines.
Smart thinking under pressure.
She blocked the number immediately, reported the profile, and then the final check.
What was that?
She and her mom went back to the address the next day, in the daylight.
That's
The
not-
woman who answered the door denied having any sons at all.
Wow. So Marissa genuinely dodged a bullet, a potential abduction, maybe worse.
Entirely because she checked the address, noted the cars, and trusted that chilling feeling about the dark van. It wasn't the phone call that saved her. It was vetting the physical reality.
The takeaway there seems pretty clear.
Yeah.
Look for external evidence that contradicts the profile, not just internal stuff like a nice voice that confirms it.
Precisely. You need that real-world check.
Okay, let's shift to the Chaz case. This one really highlights what you call the isolation signature.
Yes, it does. Chaz matched with a profile claiming to be two girls who thought he was cute.
Which is already a lure, isn't it? Makes the target feel safer, thinking there are multiple people, maybe less likely for something bad to happen.
Exactly. Safety in numbers, but used deceptively. The red flags here were maybe less subtle than Marissa's, but easier to dismiss as just quirky.
Like what?
First, the immediate firm refusal to swap phone numbers. Let's just message on here until we meet, the profile insisted.
Right, that keeps everything contained within the app. Untraceable outside of it, prevents any kind of quick social media check or anything.
Exactly, no accountability trail. And the second, and this is the non-negotiable one for me, the location.
Where do they want to meet?
A park by the woods at 10:10 p.m. Meeting by a statue on a dirt path where, this is a direct quote, no one will be there this late.
Okay, that's not quirky, that's actively dangerous.
It's intentionally concealed, isolated, dark. They maximized his isolation while minimizing their own traceability. It screams setup.
So Chaz arrives, and it feels creepy, obviously.
Right. He messages them, this is kind of creepy, are you guys here? And boom, instantly unmatched.
The trap is sprung. The digital connection is severed the second he's physically vulnerable.
Precisely. And then he hears it. Prigs snapping, leaves crunching. He realizes someone is watching him from the woods.
What does he do?
He uses his phone as a flashlight, which is smart. But critically, the moment he suspects danger, he starts recording video, using the phone as both light and evidence recorder.
Good move.
The light catches someone in the trees, and that person immediately runs out and chases him.
Oh my God.
Chaz managed to use the darkness and trees to hide, thankfully, and get back to his car.
So let's synthesize that. The isolation signature.
Yeah. Refusal to exchange real contact info, combined with insisting on a remote, dark, isolated location. If someone won't give you a number but demands you meet them somewhere you're physically vulnerable like that, that's not a date. That's a trap. Simple as that.
Our third narrow escape involves Jeremy. This was a really good example of targeted catfishing.
Yes, because the target felt familiar. Jeremy matched with Mia, someone he actually knew from high school.
Ah, that shared history builds instant trust, doesn't it?
Hugely effective. It feels real. They chatted about life after school, swapped Snapchats. Seemed legitimate.
Where did they plan to meet? Let me guess. Somewhere isolated.
Bingo. Midnight. A large, basically deserted parking lot behind a strip mall. Again, chosen specifically because, quote, nobody goes at night.
It's a recurring theme, this isolation.
It's fundamental to these kinds of attacks. So, Jeremy's waiting. 20 minutes go by. He's getting these constant apologetic snaps about being late.
Keeping him on the hook.
Exactly. Then, headlights appear. Jeremy gets out of his car, ready to meet Mia. But his vigilance kicks in. Not because of the person, but the car.
What was wrong with the car?
It was a small Honda, or maybe a Hyundai, just a small sedan. And Jeremy knew the real Mia, followed her on Instagram, knew she drove a Jeep Cherokee. It was all over her profile.
Got it. The physical, verifiable reality shattered the digital lie.
Yeah.
The catfish could fake the chat, steal the photos, but couldn't fake the actual car.
That's the crucial discrepancy. The moment he realized, he jumped straight back into his car. The other car honks at him.
Trying to get him to come back out.
Seems like it. So Jeremy messages the Snapchat account. Hey, step out from your car. Let me see you first. Smart move. Put the onus on them.
What was the reply?
A short delay, then the classic deflection. I don't want to. It's so cold out. What's wrong?
Yeah, right. After making him wait 20 minutes in the cold, that's not a real excuse.
Absolutely not. Refusing that simple face-to-face verification right there in the parking lot proved it wasn't Mia. Jeremy floored it. The car followed him for a bit, but peeled off once he got onto the highway.
And he later confirmed with the real Mia.
Yep, contacted her via Instagram DM. She confirmed she was being catfished. Someone else was running that account.
So the takeaway here is about those verifiable details. In targeted catfishing, the imposter has to fake everything. When a key physical detail, like the car, doesn't match, you don't wait for an explanation. You leave immediately.
Couldn't put it better myself. Trust the discrepancy. Okay, now we need to shift gears a bit to a really strange case. But it's fascinating because it shows how an absolutely ridiculous premise can actually be psychological cover for something truly malicious.
Yeah.
This is the Maddie or Invincibles case.
Invincibles. What kind of profile name is that?
Exactly. Strange from the get-go, the profile offered money, like $50 to $100, for Maddie to come over and kick a guy in the groin.
Sorry, what? Kick him?
The reason given was completely absurd. He supposedly lost a bar bet, and they wanted to film it for a YouTube video.
Okay, that sounds so fake, it's almost unbelievable.
That's the counterintuitive psychology. It's so odd that you might think, oh, this must just be some weird, harmless stunt, instead of thinking, this is obviously a setup for something bad.
And Maddie needed the money, so she considered it.
She did. But crucially, the friend who provided this account, the narrator of the source, was deeply skeptical. She insisted on going with Maddie for protection.
Safety in numbers.
That decision right there was probably the single most important deterrent in this whole story.
Okay, so they agree to go. What happened next? Red flags start popping up.
Immediately. First, the initial address was some random hotel in Clearfield. Already feels a bit off.
Yeah, not exactly neutral ground.
Then they wait there for almost an hour. Nothing. Then the person messages, suggesting they just skip the hotel and come straight to their house instead.
Ah, the delay and the location shift. Yeah, classic tactics. Wear down your patience, make you more likely to agree to something you wouldn't have initially, just because you're already invested.
Precisely. So they get to the house. Looks normal enough, right next to a main road. But the friend immediately spots something unsettling.
What's that?
A creepy-looking shed out back. And, quote, a creepier-looking man peering out from the shed door.
Okay, that's not subtle.
Not at all. When the guy they're supposed to meet finally comes out, he's nothing like the profile picture. He's described as skin bones, nervous, twitchy, potentially like an addict. The catfishing is confirmed right there, in person.
So now the friend's presence becomes really important.
Hugely. When Maddie casually mentions, oh yeah, I brought my friend just as a precaution, the guy's whole demeanor just tanks.
Yeah.
His expression drops, he stutters. Yeah, that's fine, I guess.
That reaction says everything.
It really does.
Yeah.
Criminals who rely on isolating their victims hate unexpected company. It disrupts the entire plan.
So they actually go inside the shed.
They do. And the scene inside is grim. Filthy, cluttered. There's even a toilet just sitting in the corner. He sets up a laptop to record, looking tense, almost angry.
This is getting worse and worse.
And then the friend notices the clincher, the piece of evidence that ties the whole deception together.
What is it?
On the guy's laptop, open on the screen, is Snapchat, and he's actively messaging a profile named Chelsea.
Let me guess, he was pretending to be Chelsea.
Almost certainly. He was running the female persona himself. Probably to reassure Maddie during the setup, make it seem like a couple was involved, lower her guard.
Wow. Okay, so they do the kick.
Apparently, yes. They collect the cash. And the guy immediately tries to keep them there longer. What are you guys doing tonight? Do you smoke weed?
Trying to prolong the encounter. Find another angle.
Exactly. They made a quick exit. Sensibly.
Was there anything else?
Yes. The crucial post-mortem insight came later. Maddie admitted that this Chelsea persona had offered beforehand to rent them a hotel room and buy them pizza.
Okay, that changes everything.
It does. The friend became convinced this was never about a YouTube stunt. The sequence, the isolation, the offer of a hotel room, food, potential intoxication, the creepy shed, it pointed strongly toward a planned malicious act, maybe sexual assault, maybe something worse.
And the only thing that stopped it was the friend being there.
Safety in numbers ruined his plan, the lesson. If the reason for meeting seems bizarre, obscure, or the payment seems way out of whack for the task, that obscurity itself is often a veil for danger. The weird request is flag number one, but the resistance to neutral locations, the location changes, the nervousness, the physical mismatch, all confirmation you need to get out.
Okay, we have to shift now from these near misses, these narrow escapes, to the tragic outcomes. We're moving from deception tactics, really, into physical violence, often rooted in pre-existing situations, pre-existing threats.
Yeah, this is tough territory. The Joy Pipple case is just a devastating example of how trying to start over using these apps for a fresh start can violently collide with a jealous, obsessive past.
Tell us about Joy.
Joy Pipple was 39, a nurse, a mother of 4 in Sydney. She was using Tinder, really embracing that idea of new year, new beginnings, after divorcing her ex-husband, Alexander Villaluna.
Okay, and that divorce context is critical here.
Absolutely essential. The sources are clear. Alexander had previously threatened to kill Joy if she ever dated another man.
He actually said that.
He did. Although later, he apparently modified it, saying he'd spare her life because of their son. But the threat, the capacity for violence was established. There was a history there. Domestic violence, potential protective orders. It turned the dating app for him into a dangerous tracking tool.
So Joy matches with someone new.
Yes. Keith Collins, a 53-year-old businessman. They arranged to meet for dinner, Korean barbecue restaurant, March 30th, 2016. A completely normal public first date.
Okay, public place. That feels safer.
It should. But in this case, the threat wasn't the date itself. As they were finishing dinner, Alexander just appeared.
At the restaurant, how did he know?
The sources don't specify how he tracked them, whether through the app, stalking, or something else, but he found them. He walked up to their table, put his arm around Keith, the redate, and asked, "What are you doing with my wife?"
Chilling. That wasn't really a question, was it?
No, it was an accusation, a prelude. Immediately, without hesitation, he started choking Keith. Then he pulled out a hunting knife and stabbed Keith in the abdomen.
Oh my God. In the middle of the restaurant.
Right there. Joy screamed, obviously, tried to intervene, protect Keith. Alexander turned on her instantly, stabbed her once in the chest, once in the arm as she tried to defend herself.
But his main target was Keith.
The sources confirm that. His obsession, his rage, was focused on the new man. As Keith fell, Alexander got on top of him and just kept stabbing. 5 more times. 11 stab wounds in total for Keith.
This is horrific, the level of violence.
It reveals not panic, but this focused, premeditated rage, fueled by obsession, in a public place, no less.
What happened after the attack?
Alexander calmly walked out, chased Joy for a moment, but then apparently gave up, went back into the restaurant, and simply sat down next to Keith's body, waiting for the police.
He just waited.
Sat there, surrendered without any resistance when they arrived. And he immediately admitted why he did it, simply because Keith was having dinner with his ex-wife.
The trial must have been.
It underscored the dangerous psychology. He pleaded guilty to murder in 2017, but then the defense tried this bizarre angle claiming self-defense somehow.
Self-defense. How?
It made no sense. They even suggested Joy somehow blamed herself or welcomed the violence. The court, thankfully, dismissed it instantly. The CCTV footage showed clearly Alexander was the sole aggressor, arrived armed, intent on violence.
What was the sentence?
40 years in prison, minimum 30 before parole. Eligible in 2046, he'd be 74.
The lesson here is just brutal, isn't it?
It is. If you are dating after leaving a violent relationship, or if there's a protective order, you have to operate under the assumption that your ex might be monitoring your online activity. The dating app itself becomes a source of intelligence for the stalker.
So the new match isn't the danger.
Not necessarily. The danger is the known threat using the app to find you or find who you're meeting. Security measures have to be extreme. Informing the new date about the situation, choosing locations with high security, visible police presence, it's a different level of caution required. Okay, our next case really brought the whole conversation about consent, self-defense, and what you might call psychological entrapment to a head in Australia. This is the Warina Wright case, and it's particularly significant because of a horrifying audio recording captured by the man involved.
Warina Wright. She matched with Gable Toasty back in August 2014. What was the initial interaction like?
Well, Warina was apparently looking for someone attractive, maybe saw a resemblance to a TV character. Gable Toasty, on the other hand, was noted in reports for spending, quote, way too much time on his appearance. But his opening messages were immediate red flags, really aggressively sexual. Things like, "You look delicious," and asking if she could be a freak in the sheets.
Wow, straight out of the gate. Not exactly subtle.
Not at all. They met up anyway, spent the night drinking pretty heavily. CCTV tracked them going to bars, buying beer, and eventually ending up back at Gable's apartment, 14th floor of the Avalon Apartments building.
14th floor. Okay.
And hours later, Warina fell to her death from that balcony.
Oh, no. What makes this case unique, you said, was a recording.
Yes. Gable Toasty had this incredibly bizarre, disturbing habit. He routinely audio recorded his entire dates with women, lots of them.
He recorded the whole date. Why?
The sources don't really explain the motive, maybe a control thing, maybe something else, but this date was no exception. And that recording became the central, absolutely chilling piece of evidence in the trial that followed.
What did the recording reveal?
It confirms that after they had sex, things went south. The interaction devolved into a confrontation. Warina was clearly much more intoxicated, her speech was slurred, and she became increasingly aggressive and erratic, according to the audio.
Okay, so she was drunk and agitated.
Yes, but critically, Gable refused to let her leave the apartment. He physically restrained her. The confrontation escalated, and the audio clearly captured Gable choking Marina.
He choked her. It's on the recording.
Audible on the recording, before locking her outside, onto the 14th floor balcony.
He locked her out there, high up.
Yes, and you can hear her on the tape absolutely terrified, screaming to be let go, just wanting to go home.
And Gable's response.
His response, captured forever on that recording, was a direct, horrifying threat. He said, "You're lucky I haven't chucked you off my fucking balcony, you goddamn psycho little bitch."
He actually said that. He threatened to throw her off.
Explicitly. He had physically trapped her, verbally threatened her life in an incredibly high-risk location.
But what happened then? How did she fall?
It seems Warina, trapped, terrified, possibly believing his threat, felt she had no other way out. She tried to climb down from his balcony to a lower floor balcony, and during that attempt, she fell.
And Gable, did he call for help?
No, he didn't call emergency services. His first call was to his father, insisting he hadn't pushed her, but admitting, quote, "I just chucked her out on the balcony and shut the door because she was baiting me up."
Chucked her out, his own words. So he was arrested.
He was arrested, yes, charged with murder, later downgraded to manslaughter. But despite that horrifying audio evidence, the choking, the threat, the admission of locking her out, Gable Toasty was ultimately acquitted of all charges.
Acquitted? How is that possible with that recording?
It sent shockwaves, truly. The prosecution argued he'd essentially caused her death, that he trapped her, made her so afraid she felt her only option was that desperate, fatal escape attempt. They argued his actions led directly to her death.
Makes sense. So what was the defense?
The defense successfully argued that Warina was extremely intoxicated, acting irrationally, aggressively, that her death, while tragic, was an accident resulting from her own irrational actions while trying to escape. They framed Gable's actions, the choking, locking her out, as merely restraining an aggressive person, not intending to cause her death or serious harm.
And the jury bought that.
The jury accepted the defense's argument, acquitted him.
That's just hard to comprehend.
Yeah.
And there was more context, wasn't there, about his previous behavior?
Yes. A downstairs neighbor testified, reported hearing frequent loud arguments involving Gable and various women coming from his apartment. It suggested this kind of volatile, potentially violent confrontation wasn't just a one-off fueled by alcohol that night. It might have been a dangerous pattern of behavior.
A pattern that the dating app community or the platform itself would have had no way of knowing about.
Exactly, which raises huge questions about accountability and safety on these platforms. Okay, our final case tonight really underscores two things. The sheer, chilling premeditation some modern dating app criminals possess, and also the incredible power of the technological trail that law enforcement can now use to solve these crimes, even when they span continents. This is the motor of Grace Mullane in New Zealand.
Grace Mullane, she was the young British tourist, right?
That's right. 21 years old, from Essex in the UK. She was backpacking, traveling through New Zealand in late 2018. She matched with a guy named Jesse on Tinder while she was staying at a hostel in Auckland.
And the sources give us a really precise timeline for their date, don't they? December 1st.
Incredibly precise, thanks to CCTV and digital records. It started normally. 5:37 p.m., Grace leaves the hostel. They meet at Sky City, a bar casino complex. Hug, have drinks for about 90 minutes.
Seems fine so far.
Totally. They move on to a Mexican cafe nearby for more drinks, then to another bar, the Blue Stone Room. They're seen kissing. Grace actually messages a friend during this time saying the date is going well. Jesse apparently went to the bathroom while she sent that message.
Okay. And then?
Around 9:40 p.m., they leave the bar, holding hands. They walk together to the City Life Hotel, which is where Jesse had an apartment. CCTV captures them entering the elevator together.
And that was the last time Grace was seen alive.
That was it.
So what happened next? What did Jesse do? The cover-up must have started pretty quickly.
Almost immediately. And it was disturbingly meticulous. The very next day, December 2nd, he's caught on CCTV, first buying cleaning supplies and a new large suitcase.
A large suitcase. Okay, that's ominous.
Deeply. Then he rents a car. And here's where it gets truly horrifying, showing his calculated mindset.
What did he do?
Instead of panicking, hiding, fleeing, Jesse went on a second Tinder date later that same day.
He went on another date while Grace was presumably already dead in his apartment.
That's the chilling reality. And that second date, the woman ended it quickly. She told police later he was acting really creepy and had casually started talking about the best places to hide a dead body.
He was talking about hiding bodies on his next date. Was he testing his plan or just morbidly boasting?
It's impossible to know for sure. Maybe both. A perverse enjoyment, maybe, while maintaining this facade of just being on a date. After that, he returned to the hotel, borrowed a rug doctor, a carpet steam cleaner from the hotel staff.
And spent hours cleaning his apartment.
Hours trying to erase any trace. But, crucially for the investigation, police later used luminol, that chemical spray that reacts with trace amounts of blood, makes it glow in the dark.
Yeah.
They found blood evidence on the edges of the carpet despite his intensive cleaning efforts.
So the physical evidence was still there.
Some of it. He then used a hotel luggage cart, loaded the new large suitcase along with some other smaller cases into the rental car he'd gotten.
And the next day, December 3rd.
The disposal phase. He drives out and buys a brand new shovel.
A shovel?
Then he's seen on CCTV tossing items into a random public trash can in Albert Park. Those turned out to be all of Grace's belongings, her clothes, her purse, her phone, everything.
Erasing her identity, basically.
Completely. Then he took his own clothes to a dry cleaner and finally meticulously cleaned the inside and outside of the rental car before returning it.
Just methodical, step by step. So when did the police catch up with him?
They identified him pretty quickly as the man Grace was last seen with. When they first interviewed him, he tried the usual deception, claimed they kissed, Grace left his apartment, maybe she was catfishing him, the usual lies.
But they didn't buy it.
Not with Grace missing and the evidence trail mounting. They re-interviewed him on December 7th, and his story crumbled.
He confessed?
He admitted key parts, admitted buying the shovel, admitted driving out to the bush, the Wataka Ranges area, digging a hole, getting the suitcase with Grace's body inside, burying her, covering the hole.
He admitted burying her.
Yes. He also admitted dumping all her property in that trash bin, but he tried to frame it all as panic. Claimed he just panicked after she died somehow during consensual sex. Denied inflicting injuries, denied killing her.
But the evidence told a different story.
A completely different story. The GPS data from the rental car, his phone's location history, his Google search history, it all corroborated the timeline and led police directly to the shallow grave in the Wataka Ranges.
And there was more, wasn't there? Something about photos.
Yes, perhaps the most damning piece of evidence. Investigators found intimate photos Jesse had taken of Grace's body after she was dead before he placed her in the suitcase.
Oh, that's just horrific. That proves it wasn't panic. That's depraved possession.
Exactly. It shattered his panic defense, showed calculation, maybe even a ritualistic element. He was found guilty of murder, sentenced to life, minimum 17 years without parole.
And other victim came forward.
Yes. After his conviction made headlines, 2 other women came forward. They accused Jesse of sexually assaulting them after matching with him on Tinder on previous occasions. He was convicted of those assaults too, adding more time, though served concurrently. It confirmed he was a repeat sexual predator using the platform to find victims.
What a truly dark case.
Yeah.
But it does show how that digital trail, the GPS, the search history, the CCTV, it's indispensable for law enforcement now.
Absolutely. Technology is a double-edged sword, used by the predator for meticulous planning and cover-up, but also used by investigators for meticulous tracking and, ultimately, conviction. Hashtag conclusion and synthesis.
Right. We have covered some incredibly intense, really disturbing material today, from those near misses with the van in the woods, right through to these awful tragic outcomes like Joy Pipple, Warina Wright, and Grace Mullane.
Yeah.
We need to try and pull this all together now. Condense these chilling stories into something immediate, actionable, some knowledge that you listening can actually use.
Absolutely. And the overwhelming pattern, I think, when you look across these cases, Marissa, Chaz, Jeremy, the Invincibles guy, even Jesse Kempson, who killed Grace Mullane, it's rarely spontaneous violence erupting out of nowhere.
No, it's calculation.
It's calculated deception, designed specifically to isolate the victim, to entrap them. The person they meet is either not who they claim to be at all, or they're actively hiding a truly malicious intent behind layers and layers of lies.
Okay, so let's unpack this. We've seen that just relying on your gut feeling, your intuition, isn't enough, is it? You need actual, concrete verification.
You really do.
So maybe we can condense the key lessons from all these sources into something easy to remember. How about the 3D rule? Discrepancy, darkness, and deflection.
I like that. 3D rule. Okay, let's break it down. First, D, discrepancy.
Right. This is about when the verifiable real-world details just don't match the story you've been given online.
Exactly. Like the car Jeremy saw wasn't Mia's Jeep. or the multiple cars Marissa saw outside the dark house, or the guy from the Invincibles profile looking nothing like the man they met.
If a critical physical fact contradicts the digital profile or the story.
That's a hard stop, full stop. The moment that happens, you terminate the encounter, you leave. Don't wait for an explanation, even if it sounds plausible. Just go.
Okay. Second D, darkness.
This is about the location. Any insistence on meeting somewhere that maximizes your physical vulnerability and minimizes visibility minimizes witnesses.
Like Chaz being lured to the dark woods by the park, or Jeremy to that deserted parking lot late at night, or the invincible guy wanting them to come to his creepy shed.
If someone resists meeting in a public, well-lit, populated area, if they push for isolation, they are setting a trap. That isolation is a prerequisite for whatever harm they intend. Don't go along with it.
Makes sense. And the third D, deflection.
This covers any resistance to basic vetting steps, when they deflect or outright refuse reasonable requests for verification.
Like refusing to swap real phone numbers, like in Chaz's case. Or refusing to just step out of the car so you can see their face, like with Jeremy. Or shifting the location multiple times after making you wait for ages, like Maddie experienced.
If they're actively preventing you from confirming who they are, if they're resisting transparency, they are hiding something significant. That resistance, that deflection, it's probably the loudest warning sign they can give you. Listen to it.
And we absolutely have to remember the external factors, too. The Joy Pebble case is a terrible reminder that if there's a history of domestic violence or a protective order is in place, the dating profile itself can become a stalking tool for the abuser. Safety planning in those situations needs a whole different level of vigilance.
A completely different calculus, yes. And the Maddie case, despite its weirdness, gave us a clear, positive lesson, too.
Safety in numbers.
It works. Her friend being there was a powerful, immediate deterrent. It ruined the predator's plan, which clearly relied on isolating Maddie. Sometimes just not being alone is the best defense.
So we've seen the extraordinary lengths these perpetrators go to, haven't we? Recording dates, buying shovels, cleaning apartments meticulously, crafting these bizarre scenarios.
Well, we've also seen the seemingly small, simple defensive acts that worked. Checking the address beforehand, questioning why the car is different, insisting on a public place, trusting that gut feeling when something feels off, and verifying it in the real world.
That meticulous real-world verification seems key. It's your most effective defense against the digital deception.
Absolutely.
Which brings us, I guess, to a final thought, something provocative for you, the listener, to maybe mull over. We've seen technology play a huge role here for tracking, for identification by police, for gathering evidence like recordings and search histories. So given how sophisticated catfishing is getting, how calculated these criminals can be, and how much info is out there, should dating platforms maybe be required to do more? Like mandatory real-time video verification before you can message someone, or perhaps even basic background checks?
It's a huge question, isn't it? If we imposed those kinds of requirements, all in the name of safety, which is a valid goal, would it fundamentally change the nature of these apps? Would it destroy the spontaneity, the privacy, that feeling of organic connection that users are often looking for?
Where is that line between providing genuine safety and maybe over-securitizing to the point where it compromises the whole user experience people signed up for?
It's a really tough balance to strike, something definitely worth thinking about.
Indeed. Thank you for joining us on this very critical deep dive. Be safe out there, be smart, and please be well informed.